So I read 3 thrillers, and we're gonna go over them, reviewing them, and see which books I liked and didn't like. So come along, this is already a mess. Hey guys, it's Jessie. I want to do this new segment on my channel where I read 3 thrillers and then talk about them, and you guys guess which one is my favorite and which is not. So the first book that I read out of these 3 books is the Book of Cold Cases by Simone St. James. And if you're a true crime junkie, then these books are for you because they all contain true crime. Not actual true crime, but true crime within the stories. So we follow 2 people, and I read all these books on audiobook, and it was amazing. But we follow Shay, and then, what's her face? Beth. Shay is a receptionist by day and a true crime blogger at night. In 1977, Clare Lake, Oregon was shaken by the Lady Killer murders. 2 men seemingly randomly were murdered with the same gun. With strange notes left behind, Beth Greer was the perfect suspect, a rich, eccentric 23-year-old woman seen fleeing one of the crime scenes, but she was acquitted and she retreated to her isolation of her mansion. So one day when Beth goes into the job of where Shay works as a receptionist, I think it's cosmetic purchaser, or no, it's like a health doctor. That doesn't make any sense. But Beth checks in with Shay, and Shay's like, why do I recognize this woman? And then she realizes she's Beth. She's the lady killer. She's like trying to be like slick. She's not slick. But she, on her lunch break, she follows Beth and they meet, and then they start meeting regularly because Shay has a true crime blog. And obviously she wants to get the story from the lady killer herself. And it's gonna boost her true crime blog, and she's just so excited for this. So she goes to her mansion, Beth's mansion, and they start talking. But things start going weird and not normal. It's just so thrilling and intense. And for the audiobook, it's 2 people. It's Shay and then Beth's voice. I love how it goes back and forth from 1977 to 2017. Because when we go back to 1977, we go back to Beth, the lady killer's life, and how all this ended up to be. Or is it? Because it's unreliable narrator. Well, it says that, but I don't really see it as an unreliable narrator. It just, we get Beth's side, and then when Shay is researching and talking to the detectives and like about it, we get their side, and some things don't add up, but holy crap, things add up. Now, A Flicker in the Dark by Stacey Willingham. This is the first book I've read by her, but this book is about another true crime within the story happening. So Chloe Davis was 12 when 6 teenagers went missing in her Louisiana small town by the end of the summer. Her own father has confessed to the crimes and was put away for life, leaving Chloe and the rest of her family to grapple with the truth and trying to bring forward what really happened. And growing up with like the complex of her father being the murderer of these gruesome murders, she is now a psychologist and helping troubled teenagers with their current situation and their past, because she also went through it. So she is like sympathizing with them, like, I've been there, so I understand how you're feeling, what you're going through, so talk to me, let me help you. That's what her job is. And she is engaged to this, he's a medical doctor, I just don't know what his title is, and they're like the perfect couple. But then when things start happening again with girls showing up dead, her father is still in prison, so she's like, who is this? Is this a copycat? Who is the copycat? And it takes you on turns from there. But this is only a one-person audiobook. It's just one person reading the audiobook. But unlike this book, compared to this book, this one only has one timeline. So it doesn't go back to the past and the present. It just stays one place. It stays put. Then we have my latest read, and that is Riley Sager's new book, The Only One Left. Now reduced to a schoolyard chant, the Hope family murder shocked the Maine coast one bloody night in 1929. While most people assumed 17-year-old Lenora was responsible, the police was never able to prove it. Other than her denial of the killings, she has never spoken publicly about that night, nor has she set foot outside the Hope's End, the cliffside mansion where the massacre occurred. And it's now 1982. This reminds me of Lizzie Borden, if you've ever known about that actual true crime story, where they don't know who the killer was. But then we meet Kit McDear, and it takes place in 1983, and she is not having any luck. She can't find a job until this opportunity comes about to be the home care provider on that big hill mansion to Lorena, because she cannot keep a care provider. She cannot keep a care provider. Everyone runs screaming. So this is her last hope, and so she takes it. And everything goes bump in the night because it is a rickety house on the side of a cliff with the ocean. Besides things going bump in the night, also that vibe of the house. And Lorena is handicapped and she's mute, so the only way she can communicate with you is by looks, tapping, or like on her typewriter mainly. And Kit McDear is trying to get the truth out, like what really happened. But then things start to go bump in the night. Or do they? This is a book of twists and turns, and if you've read Riley Sager books, you know like everything's going good until like the middle end where there's a huge twist at the end. Yeah, that's this book too. So out of these 3 books, which books do you think I actually liked and didn't like? Because trust me, there's some. So The Book of Cold Cases by Simone St. James. I like this book, but I didn't love it because I just didn't care for the supernatural aspect of it. I thought it just made it more like kind of hokey, and I just wanted to stick to the true crime of it all because it could still have the true crime of it without the supernatural paranormal in it. And I did like the audiobook. It was catching. It did make me like want to like finish this in one sitting, but at the end it just didn't wow me. But I do recommend it if you like the synopsis and are interested in it. Give it a shot. It is still good, but it just wasn't my favorite. But with this book does come some trigger warnings. It includes alcohol and drug abuse, and obviously murder and broken family. But nonetheless, it was a very interesting book, but I just didn't feel very triumphant at the end because I kind of figured what was happening. But if it intrigues you, it is not a bad book. Now, A Flicker in the Dark by Cece Willingham. It was okay. It just didn't really like keep me on the edge of my seat because we were tossed in so many directions. And I looked this up, and it doesn't say it has an unreliable narrator, but it feels like it really does have an unreliable narrator because with so many people that she's suspecting as the copycat, it just lost my interest. I'm like, okay, she's like suspecting everyone. It just flopped for me. I did think I knew where it was going, but then I didn't see it coming at all. The way it led up to it, it just lost my interest until we found out who it was, and it caught my interest. But this is a one-woman show for the person who reads the book to you in the audiobook. What is that called? A narrator? There's only one person who narrates this book. I did enjoy it, but not as much as I wanted to or thought I would. It just, again, it fell flat for me until the whodunit ending part, but still, from me already feel like it was like, I already know whodunit and like it was a flop. I was already feeling like that. The ending was surprising, but it didn't reach that cathartic moment for me, like, oh, no, like, I'm just like, oh, what? Interesting, okay. An interesting read, it's an interesting take, but it wasn't my favorite at all. This girl is so paranoid, that is what made it a very unreliable narrator. But I don't think it's advertised as an unreliable narrator in this book, which is interesting. But there are some trigger warnings. Also, like the other book, this one contains alcohol and drug abuse and murder, mental health stuff. The only reason why I kept reading it is because I just want to know who done it in the end. That's it. Yeah, so I would say this is my least favorite out of all the books I've read in this video. Riley Sager is the only one left. This is my favorite book I've read out of the 3 here, or just in general. I love this book. I love this thriller. This is the first Riley Sager book I gave 5 stars to. I love this book so much. It had me on the edge of my seat. I could not get enough of this book. I read it in 2 days, and it's like an 11-hour audiobook, which I'm new to audiobooks, so I don't know if that's like average or fast or whatnot. But going back and forth from past to present, there's so many twists and turns, but it was a good way. It wasn't throwing you off, and it wasn't like flicker in the dark. It's just so eerie and suspenseful and thrilling. And then, like I said, Riley Sager is known for his normal in the beginning of the book and then his major twist at the middle end. At least that's how I see it from reading Final Girls and Survive the Night. I didn't care for those twists in the book, and that's why I gave it a lower rating than when I was starting to read those books. But this twist in the book, it was so good. It's so good. It went so well. I loved it. It's so good. It was one of those books where after reading it, I just had to sit there and think of everything that just happened, because it's so like spooky, eerie. It's so good. You don't know who it is. You think you know. I love the writing, or I guess I couldn't really say I love the writing, so I listened to it on the audiobook, but it is a one-woman show. But the people who all work in the mansion, and from the past to the present, and like lining timelines up, and like all the scandals that happened in the past and bringing it up to today, and the people that lived through it, and it's just so good. I highly recommend this book in audiobook if you can. I don't think there's really any trigger warnings for this book besides murder. That's all I can think of. But this book was a thrill of a ride, and I highly recommend it. But this is how I would rate these 3 books. Best, it was good. It was okay. But if you notice that these books are all like book of the month books, I'm not sponsored at all. I wish. It just happened to be like that. So let me know what you thought of this new segment. I will get better with reviewing the books, I swear. It's been a couple weeks since I've read these books, so it's kind of like not fresh in my mind, but I swear I'm going to do better with reading these books and doing a review once it's still fresh in my head. I will. But let me know in the comments down below what you guys thought of the books. No spoilers. I tried so hard to not give any spoilers. But sometimes trigger warnings can be spoilers, but I feel like I'd rather know of a trigger warning, even if it's a spoiler, you know? Or is that just me? Let me know. But like this video if you want more of these videos, because I'll do it for like also like rom-com reads, you know? It's just fun, and I love talking about books. And 3 thrillers, and which one did I like? I just love the idea so much. But yeah, like and subscribe if you want more videos by me, and I'll see you guys later. Bye guys.